Hello, welcome, and happy to tune in today. The energies are soft and gentle, and I was guided to record this as I am journeying through how to write my about page on my website. So I thought this would be a nice practice ground, a way for me to share verbally, which is sometimes easier for me to access and move through all that comes through. And specifically because it's nice to get to know you as well. And I'd love to share some more about me. And you are more than welcome to introduce yourself in the comments and what comes from your heart so that I can get to know a bit about you and who is listening. So, to begin, I have actually already lit candle and connected to my wholeness, my whole self. But of course, this spiritual journey, this personal path that we are on, is one that moves through multiple experiences, multiple stories, multiple cycles that tend to, over time, reveal more and more of who you are. And then in the healing process, in the discovery of collecting and gathering and then nourishing more of you, then we can expand our access to self by choosing to be further in relations with others. So many people who have connected to me or worked with me over the years, some of the big query of going, why move into accessing self? Why this deep journey and discovering of who we are? How does that relate or relate to being of service to others? Or how does that relate to being in greater connection and relationship with other human beings, with other plants, animals, trees, and most definitely our earth? And I can share that in my 40 years in this human form, that the cycles of my personal journey in discovering and accessing more and more of me, and then getting comfortable with that and accepting that, and accepting the parts of my story that may have felt traumatic and difficult, and that whole deep, what is sometimes typified as the spiritual journey, which I would share is more so just the life journey, has allowed then me to be here now, to be able to speak and share of my story, to speak and share of what moves through me, to and then in furthering conversations, to allow for greater connection, to allow for more to enjoy a journey of truth, so that we can then remember and almost grow into accommodating more joy, more peace, more love. And as we heal, as we accept, allow, trust on this path, more and more of self, then what we have also carried on top of all the hurts and the stuck emotions and the old perspectives of self and others, as we clear all that we have carried, we encounter what we have been protecting within self, which are our immense gifts that we have carried into this human experience. The further ways of bringing greater harmony, connection, and loving and safer community into being. So most definitely, just like the Taurus, the toroidal aspect of energy, which is an easy Google. I always, it's like when something outside of you doesn't make sense with you, then you go within, and within can share so much more, which will naturally then allow you to move outside of self again with more and a greater capacity for you to stand in your truth, that is based, though, on a knowing that it is for hugely an intention for the greater good of self, spirit, one, and all. So, in my journey in where to begin? For as I have shared before, this being that is named Josie, full name Josephine. My mother named my middle name is Arivata. For my mother was quite an intuitive herself, and I remember receiving this name that really just didn't make sense to me, and feeling the confusion that my name brought forward in my personal path in discovering more of my identity, and honoring that identity shifts and changes, because the one constant is change. So Arivata was an interesting one. Josephine was easy to figure out what the naming means, that is close to God. And most definitely, my life has reminded me of that, sometimes smacked me in the face with that reminder. And sometimes when I veered too far off of my true path, it pulled me back with vigor. So I can understand that meaning, and how Josephine also reminds me of the multiple religions that I was integrated into during my life, and how each of them, each practice through different languages and different religions that I was led to by potential parents or community, also shared certain aspects of my journey, parts of the gathering, parts of receiving little bits of things, and then learning how to allow over time to let the things that were not conducive to me being a sovereign being and to me being in my totality but more so under subservience to something else, to giving power away, or to feeling and feeding into those old systems of um, some other being is greater than you, than or better than you. That it was a wondrous, this name that was gifted to me was a wondrous journey into, and I see how it has interwoven into so many parts of my experience. And so Arivata was a weird one. And I remember from a past life that it was spelt differently when I first connected to the name. It was more, instead of the VATA, it was FWOTA, Arifwata, and which was a very different awareness and understanding. And as you can even hear the difference, it's a different energy. It shares a different code and meaning, Arifwata. But Arivata, in how it is spelt and how my mother shared this notion, literally means in like Italian and Spanish, like, I have arrived, you have arrived, and I am coming, And so it's was quite an interesting one to work with, and especially going into those countries and then leaving those countries at times during my travels. They had a good chuckle. Arivata also has meaning in other languages that I have access to, in Hebrew as well. So I look forward, if it means something in another language, please do share. But what I have come to understand of then this kind of like being close to God, so definitely you're on a path that is connected to Source, Josie, and that you have arrived, that there is something very special and unique about being here in human form. There's something really incredible in the choice that soul and spirit, collaborate and co-create and bringing their essence into this human body. And so a lot of my work and story, for I've traveled and studied and practiced multiple spiritual pathways over my life. Most definitely, some that have been very strong currents have most definitely been meditation, yoga philosophy, and yoga practices like breath work, postural practice, that is also known as asana. You can look through all the different trees and connections to that. Sound work, the chanting and understanding of the sound and the energy of sound. I was taught meditation from a very young age, and so it was very beautiful as a child to experience the cosmos and all that is accessible within, and the places accessible to fly and to travel within this beautiful human form. But also on the spiritual journey, I there was always this confusion of going, then if we're this such great big spirit and such great, vast soul that carries such depths of knowing and wisdom, and a spirit that moves beyond human form and carries memories with it and carries access to so many other beautiful beings, then I first felt that the spiritual journey was, of course, to kind of escape from the physical realm, to escape from what we might know as the mundane kind of external reality that is the world, and there were many times and many stories I can share at other times. I don't feel they're meant to be for now. That I would do that. I would exit and leave and step away from this reality. And every time I did, Spirit would smack me back and say, nope, that's not it. That's not it. There's something really important here for you to focus on, Jose. And it's been quite incredible that most definitely I found that the spiritual journey, or the journey that I was on for truth and understanding, was to start to unify these seeming opposites, to unify what seems to be spirit and body, to unify the understanding of the existence, the reality that is outside of you, to the reality and perspectives that you carry within. And so, most definitely, and I remember to this day, 2012 was such a deep smack and reminder to go, nuh-uh, you are not meant to be sitting on a mountaintop, Josie. You're not meant to be, in a little idyllic kind of place that you co-create or connect to, that is outside of what is reality. You are meant to walk this path in reality, and to allow that to reflect to you what is part of you within. And so, in the clearing process, as I moved further in starting to look at what was the mundane, or the real aspects, like, finances and relationships and work, and all the things that we were just like, oh, that doesn't fit or connect to a spiritual path, I actually began to uncover and discover more that is sacred. I discovered and connected to more of my gifts. It was quite incredible. So, um, hmm. So yes, in sharing a bit about me, most definitely I had to share that. As well, who I am. There's many stories. And I wanted to also take this moment to differentiate what I perceive to be a story and what I perceive to be a discussion of a past life. Because when we speak sometimes of past lives, it might be solely the memories that you've received of other lives in another human form, outside of this human form. And most definitely, yes, I do speak sometimes of past lives in that aspect. But something came to me actually really recently, of when I was recalling a time actually within this life, within this form, and I referred to it within as a past life. And I was like, oh gosh, yeah. Completely. How many, like, obviously, after that experience, after chewing and digesting and moving through um, all the different aspects and shadows of that experience, there was a death, and there was most definitely a rebirth. The life, death, rebirth cycle that we attribute to solely our physical existence, of course, as you heal and reveal more of you, is happens multiple times within this human form. And how wondrous that we can continue to accommodate that. So if I ever speak of past lives, if you need clarification if it was in this body or not, you can always ask. But I speak of them as past lives, for I know and have had the opportunity to digest the wisdom, digest the medicine, that which assisted in healing me, and also that which assisted me in rebirthing anew, moving into a new perspective, a new shift of awareness of all that I am. And so then when I speak of stories, stories may be of previous experiences from childhood, teenagedom, adulthood, um, and those stories don't feel the same as a past life because they are there to simply carry wisdom. They are there to simply carry something that is still alive and pertinent and relevant to who I am now in present. And of course, that brings me then to presence, because um, in who we are now, right? That now, that perspective of yourself, what you carry of that you may further release and let go of in the further cycles of time, and what you may continue to reveal of what you those gifts within you is ever changing. That's the beauty of the time cycles. So then, hence why, I guess, an about page or an introduction to who I am is also needing to be said, that of course, who I am now may reveal itself to be more than what I can perceive now. And so the beauty in that, and the beauty in accommodating that within my journey and my practice, is an acceptance that certain teachings or truths that I have received, like alignment, attunement. Alignment is not a static point. So aligning with spirit, aligning with your truth, aligning with your center is an ongoing, enjoyable journey. And alignment will potentially shift as you shift. Not potentially, for sure. If you're shifting, alignment with spirit will shift with you to accommodate the changes within mind, within heart, within body. So the beauty of that is that then you can accommodate, then I have practiced to accommodate that previous ideas of perfection or moving forward on a path that is perfectly laid out by someone else's saying, this is the way. This is the way that worked for me. So this then must work for everyone else, right? The kind of idea of perfectionism that really dictates it's either one way or another. And usually one way is good and the other way is bad, right? This type of very polarizing way, which can lead to a lot of fear, a lot of almost shifting, canceling out your personal experience, canceling out your personal path that resonates true. So, another thing that I can share about myself is that my path, my true path, I share and I choose to share on this journey, but it is in no way asking you to follow my path, to adhere to my path, to only do what Josie do, to know that I am here. I am here now to accommodate each and every one of your personal paths. And the beauty of that, and allowing your personal agency and honoring your sovereignty of being and self, allowing you to practice the power that we carry, that is choice, then that of course reflects to honoring that same within me. And that way we can walk together, even if it is not necessarily on the exact same path. And those multiple paths, those multiple perspectives of what is truth now, leads to multiple then perspectives of what is real and what is not. And so then the beauty of that is not having then to debate that someone's perspective is real or illusory. It is more so simply in choosing if you can accommodate that perspective on your path or not. And to honor then boundaries, to honor then the accommodating and most beautifully freeing word to allow sometimes more space between, in the word no. And that word, to be able to speak it and to share more of boundaries, to accommodate and honor my power of choice, which and then reflects and honors someone else's, was a really difficult part of my journey for multiple times in my past lives, and multiple memories and experiences shared to me that my way wasn't the right way, or that I was weird, or that my perception of spirit and my experience that was true could not be accommodated in the boxes that I was required to sit in, or in the places and spaces that I was asked to be in. So it is an ongoing practice and an ongoing part of the journey to practice speaking my truth, not simply speaking truths, you know. I think that's something very relevant and or pertinent to differentiate for a moment, because there were, as someone who is very intuitive, someone who is very intuitive and is claircognizant, clairsentient, clair audience, you name it. I can't even remember all the clairs, but was very, very aware of a lot of information and of knowing that I would receive even as a child about others, which would be very challenging because I was taught not to speak or not to say things out of turn or not to say things that may not be, and so there was a part of my journey in speaking truths and accommodating my truth that it came out quite just like, I'll tell you what I see, and poke, poke, poke. And so when I say I speak my truth, me accommodates you. Me, if I am honoring me, as I shared, I am honoring you. It is an incredible, beautiful reflection of honoring the greater good that is self, that is spirit, that is one, that is all. So that was a very powerful part of the journey, was to experience not just speaking truths, not just saying what I saw, but actually tapping in to see, will this harm? Is this other person able to receive? And are they capable of accommodating this truth, which may shift their current perspective? Are they able to handle that? And that slowing down of just speaking truth allowed it then to not be as much this rebellious cry, this against something, against the oppression, against the hurts, the traumas, the pain, and through the healing. And then to allow that, me opening my mouth, me sharing of my experience, me sharing of my existence, me sharing of my journey, and me sharing of my gifts had an intention that I've shared that is sacred, but also then had to move through the filter of your or my. Speak your truth, speak my truth. The my or the your, that beautiful in between of going, does this person have capacity? Does this person actually have they asked for this? Are they able to sit and listen? Are they, and so in accommodating that other person, I also then was able to further accommodate my truth. It was quite incredible. And truth, I've been speaking a lot of, obviously my work, my journey. So instead of it being really called a spiritual journey, it has been a journey within self and with others in relation to accommodate, accept, allow, further understand, and then explore beyond what the truth frequency carries, what that energy of truth is. And truth in its most purest of forms and essences, the closest I can share what it senses or reminds me of is the innocence. That energy that is innocent and clear, that we sometimes or most times witness in a child prior to them, their expansive, innocent energy being defined or refined in the boxes that we ask them of or them to be. And so this journey then that I am on and that I share of is one that may bring you more into accessing that sensation of innocence, of truth, in the deep acknowledgement, respect, honor, and gratitude of your walked journey, of the growing cycles of your human form, teenage to adult, child, teenage to adult, so that we can then carry this innocence with the capacity, the strength, and ability of an adult, in the power that is, I can say yes and no. I can know how to protect myself. I can know how to create boundaries that honor myself, as well as I can know that I am also protected and do not walk alone. So, what do I do, or what do I work with? I work with energy, I work with sound. From an immense background and journey of connecting to the nuances of different energetic frequencies and vibration, to accessing multiple spirits, to accessing multiple dimensions of our capacity and self, and to have also studied not just within and with spirit and with my team and with my ancestors and my lineage and ascended teachers and star beings and all who I connect with that share that truth resonance, that have assisted in me healing multiple layers of me. I have also had the gift to have stepped into studies with additional teachers in human form, and am incredibly grateful for my studies within the yoga practice that have been here my whole life, within the Reiki lineage, as well as the nudge that I then got from some of my deep original clan members, going, now the only teachers and mentors that you are to connect with will be those who are keepers of earth and those who carry keys like you. And encountering and connecting to my dear mentor, Earth Keeper Selena Moo, who is also on YouTube, and I can always share a link. She shares many wondrous wisdom talks and things here too. It is nice to know that you are not alone within self and also not alone outside of self. To gather along this journey of truth beings that can support your change, your shifts of perspective, and your shifts of identity and shifts within. And I look forward to growing a community where we can speak more of our truths together, be it on this YouTube page, where what I will be offering and have already offered on here is guided meditations to assist in your personal practice and reflections, some healing meditation journeys that carry potent energy medicine that can assist. Medicine, as my mentor shares to me, is something that may teach or that may heal you, that might teach or that may heal. As well as Oracle. And Oracle is interesting because, of course, it's gotten a very popular term. I was like actually looking around to see if I have an Oracle card deck, but I don't, because of Oracle cards. And knowing that there's Oracle cards and then there's tarot cards. I'd also like to define what I share with Oracle. Oracle to me and to those beings that I have connected to in the cosmos that are oracles, those beings within my ancient lineage that are oracles and have taught me how to further see, is that Oracle is a seer, is acknowledging the ancient practice of seeing. And that is not just reading cards. I might pull out some cards to just add some additional, picture elements to a journey, but it is in connecting to heart, connecting to earth, and connecting to all that you are, and then accessing and receiving the information that is meant to be shared then, which may come from also other ways that have also been defined, in boxes, which always confused me because I was like, if I'm doing Oracle, I may also be channeling, and I also may be, intuiting and working with my clairs, and I may also be connecting to ancestors, and it might all come through then. So know that my Oracle sessions, which will now be new moon and full moon Oracle sessions here that will be offered live, there is multiple aspects of seeing, multiple aspects. And we'll get to explore those together. And I am honored always to share and also to listen and contemplate further on what comes through in those sessions. They're quite special to me. So I offer that. Oracle guided meditations. I'll be offering a live meditation Monday where we can chat actually as well prior to a meditation practice together on any questions or challenges experienced in making your own personal practice of inner reflection. And I look forward to also bringing in some more recorded videos like this, those that will be in conversation of speaking truth with other beings that have chosen to walk our multiple paths together to see what we can receive and practice of sounding more of truth, as well as some more things that will come as they are meant to come. So this YouTube page, if you've accessed this video today, I thank you for listening a bit about who I am as an intro, because of course the journey in self is also as we choose to journey together in getting to know more and more and more aspects of each other. And this YouTube will be my main place of connection, is what I wish to share. So you got to the right space. And I will utilize my Facebook page, which is easily found by just typing in the movement key. That is where I will share kind of when new YouTubes come, if you don't wish to subscribe to this channel, when blog postings come for further experience through word and sound and contemplations upon the journey that I wish to share, as well as a wealth of other people that are part of my community, and those that I wish to share, be it of singers and healers and other great discussions that touched my heart and connected to my truth and gave such great resonance that of course I want to ripple and support them by bringing their information to you. So Facebook page and YouTube will be my main ways of connecting with me, if not my website. And of course, anyone who signs up to my email list knows that you'll always get some extra special stuff. Right now, there is a 4-part video series that is privately shared on emotional processing tools, and I will be updating certain additional documents that I may share only to those on my list, because I honor the choice and the action that occurs with signing up to a list, and knowing that you can choose to unsubscribe at any time. But to make that effort and to make that choice and give me that consent, I can share with you some more. So, and of course, you'll see on my website that one of the keys I have found in moving beyond capitalism, moving beyond these kind of supremacist structures of perfectionism, and equating your value with worth, is I've also discovered the beauty of me being an artist, right? Being a creator. As you can see, of course, I do paintings, right? That's one of my mediums. My other mediums are with my energy medicine, working with energy and sound. So my mediumship, energy medicine services are accessible in financial tiers according to your financial capacity that is current, as well as I offer mentorship. So certain cycles and longer journeys that have intention to assist and support, be it that you're working within or working in how to be in relations, how to link those two worlds, the spirit as well as what we call reality. And then I also am overjoyed to be birthing a new community where we can have more of these conversations privately, and which is called Gifted, which also has different tiers to access. And the commitment would only be for 2 conversations, which occur within a month. And then you can choose to opt in for an additional month or not. It's up to you. And yes, so if you are so guided to join Gifted, all of the information is on my website, which is accessible somewhere on this page. I may have to put it also below. So that is all that I am doing now. That is how you can journey with me and walk together as we connect further and further towards these aspects of self and in relations. And most definitely, though, I have to close by always honoring that this work of accessing body, soul, and spirit is accessing your relations and deep gratitude to the earth, to the trees, to the plants, to how we choose to nourish ourselves, to the water, to fire, the teachings of fire, and most definitely the incredible teachings of air. So I give gratitude now to walking with always the earth, the elements, spirit, source, be it that you identify what that source is in other terms of creator, God, divine. deep gratitude. And I thank, in connecting further to the rhythms and the cycles of the moon and the sun, how my body has learned how to heal itself. And so I'm always in deep, deep reverence for the connections to this wondrous ecosystem that our bodies are a part of. Thank you for listening, for choosing to sit, get to know me a little bit. I welcome questions. I also welcome to get to know a little bit about you. And now my voice is asking for water. Thank you, water. And thank you, divine being, for being here now. You are a gift. And I welcome you. I welcome you here with all aspects of self, all facets that you are moving through. Take care. Let's see how to turn this off.